JD, you watched Dynamite last week, right?
First
What
time
did
to
you
watch.
th- what did you think of the main event between Brody King and MJF, leading to this coming up main event this coming up weekend? And what did you think of the chant that happened before the main event there in the Pearl and the Palms Theater with 1,100 strong chanting F Ice before the main event started? What are your thoughts there? And what do you think that AEW should do about it, more importantly?
Okay, so I've got some thoughts on this. I was shocked that it got
Yeah.
to that point, like as
Yeah.
was MJF, because the look on his face was like, "Oh shit, we got
Yeah.
something." Um, we're living in very political times. We'll
Yeah.
see. We're living in very volatile times, and people are not happy. That's how you know things aren't going well politically in your country is when nobody is happy. So, my surprises is going on. Nope, kids are having an ice walk out for school tomorrow. So
Yeah.
officially I can't have any thoughts on that. But
Good job.
yeah, officially
Yeah.
I'm listen on that. Uh, I think Tony needs to see where this goes this week. Right, you have to see. It caught a lot of mains. We joke about Ruben Gallegos talking about it. Like that's
Yeah.
big. Like the fact that for AEW they had a chance to really stand out. Right, and I said that don't run away from being the woke wrestling company. And because you and I have always said that AEW needs to be different. And
Yeah.
WWE is so closely aligned with the current administration, like so closely.
Yeah,
Like
they are, and I want to just touch. I don't mean to interrupt you, but I
no,
just don't want to lose my train of thought if I don't. So Dave Meltzer on his podcast, Wrestling Observer Radio, stated that WWE stays apolitical. I would say for the most part on their television show that they do, but not on their socials because Triple H is like a member of the administration. They do on television, like is like for the over the course of their TV show it's not like an overtly political show. I would think that that's factual. I would say, but the company as a whole is not apolitical. They're in fact in bed with the Trump administration, like for real.
there's lots of stretches in the history of this company that the company has leaned to the right massively. Going back to The Rock speaking at the Republican National Convention in the early
Yeah, I'm
2000s.
talking modern day though.
I'm
Yeah,
talking modern day, but I mean the company has a history of leaning very right. And these are I would say you have a point, but there's a lot of those people are still active in the company. Like
yeah,
Donald Trump is in their Hall of Fame. Linda McMahon is the Secretary of Education. Excuse me. Um, that every time I say that, I have to gag a little bit. Like the company, they can pretend to be apolitical, but they are not
that
apolitical.
yes, and I think what you just said was the perfect way to describe it. They're pretending to be apolitical when in fact they're not apolitical. They are a right leaning organization.
We'll put it this way too: if that chant had broken out during an episode of Raw, they would have cut to something else or killed the audio. They
Yeah,
would not allow. They have a lot of now. Becky Lynch has to do her cute. Ooh, I hate the ice on the ground tweets because they're gutless over there. CM
yeah.
Punk has the biggest balls in the world until he gets on TV, and then he becomes fearful of his job.
Right.
You know,
Well, a lot of people have balls unless money's on the line, and then
which which is fair, but
yeah.
Brody King wears an abolished ice shirt, and that gets this kind of thing. That
Bro-
being said,
Brody
go
King seems to be the type of guy that's happy being poor. Like if he was poor again, he'd be okay. I think.
I think so. Brody King, Brody
Yeah.
King. Now that being said, I think that you should consider steering heavily into this skid right now. And if this keeps up for a number of weeks, I think you put the belt on Brody King for a little bit. I
That
really do.
yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. So I always when it comes to business, right? I uh I am always of the opinion that you should stay apolitical because Republican money spends just as well as Democrat money. It's the Michael Jordan philosophy. He's like Republicans buy Jordans too. He doesn't care. Um, but unless you think you can make some more money by leaning into a leftist ideology, you might be able to. I mean, it going that way does work for some networks. I would say, I you know, I think if you go too far with it, you're going to alienate a lot of people and lose a lot of viewers if it becomes an overtly political show. But if you're talking about just one guy leaning into it with just one guy and letting him wear a Abolish Ice shirt down to the ring to fight a heel, the only problem is wrestling fans are pussies. You cannot have a heel be a fan of Ice. It just won't work. So,
No,
and then it's like, what's the story at that point? Where's the heat?
you don't. No, that's the thing is you don't have to have heat. Brody King just gets to be Brody King.
Yeah.
Right? He just has to wear the abolished Ice shirt to the ring. And I don't think you need to do like Jim Cornette. Okay, if Jim Cornette was booking wrestling today,
Yeah.
steal your joke. Chris Jericho
Yes.
was wearing Ice. That's your joke.
Oh, damn it. You should have just taken it. I don't want to get in trouble.
don't remember exactly how you said it. It was really funny how you said
Yeah,
it.
I said that if a Jericho they had the opportunity, the funniest thing ever, and a way to bring Chris Jericho back is make him be an ICE agent.
Yes, that would be perfect. But I don't think you have to be so over the top 1980s with it. I
No,
think what you
no,
have to do is just show up and let Brody King be Brody King the
yeah,
same way. Like like Hulk Hogan wasn't always fighting foreign villains, right? But he always had that American flag. It was always part of his identity. He always came out to real American,
yeah,
right? There's no difference in that kind of approach. So with Brody King, you can be that guy. You can be the big, scary looking, ultra liberal guy. And like, I'm not saying he has to be like get on there and cut anti-ice promos. Like that's very Jim Cornette. That's how he would
yeah,
do it. I don't think you have to do that. I think you just let him be him
right,
and be that guy, and then just putting the title on him. And I think just having him in the main event scene right now says a lot, and more importantly, it helps differentiate you from your competition. At least for a minute, at least to give people a chance to watch your show, because that's ultimately all that matters. Is can you convert that into new eyeballs? And I'm super curious how things look on Wednesday because it did make national news. CNN, NBC, like I saw
hmm
multiple networks talk about it. Multiple.
every, and then I would say even more importantly, influencers on both sides of the aisle were talking about it because there were some like left wingers, like right wingers, super mad about it, of course, and then left wingers are like, oh, when the right loses pro wrestling, you've really had an issue because they just look at pro wrestling fans as being dumb redneck right wing hicks. But what they don't understand is that AEW's kind of always been this left leaning company, right? That's kind of what they were founded on.
Mhm.
Equal pay for equal work. That never happened, by the way. That was bullshit. Yeah, that was bullshit. They
Workers'
don't.
right.
AEW doesn't have a union either, guys. They're full of shit.
No, it's all a work. It's
Yeah,
all a work. But I mean, that's the thing is you could at
yeah,
least like utilize the work. You
yeah,
know?
yeah. Well, I mean, you don't have to twist my arm to make Brody King your world champion because I think he's great. I
It's
I do.
it's
It's yeah. You
like
can you can flip flop it too if you wanted to. Yeah,
like there's nothing wrong with giving Brody King a month reign. You know,
yeah.
just while it's hot, because I think you have to take advantage of it. Like I
The,
would
the
love the idea of Brody King showing up on a talk show just looking like Brody King.
yeah,
Like people would talk about that. That's a guy that like that's a dude that passes the quote unquote another Jim Cornette as an airport test.
yeah.
Brody King walks in your airport, you're gonna like go, that's a scary looking dude.
Right. So here is the question about Brody King. Is he eloquent enough to be able to communicate a message without totally getting the company into trouble and losing sponsors? Because if you follow his Twitter, he is not. So is he media savvy enough to go and have those conversations and say, like, actually have a position? His position can't be kill all cops, which I've seen him say that before. So you can't like that can't be the position, right?
No,
The
you
position has to be like, hey, look, I think the mission set for these ICE agents is out of control, and a lot of these folks are not trained very well, and they've been radicalized by the president, and so they need to be reined in, or they need to go away completely, and then kind of scale things back, and then say like, enforcing immigration policies is not the worst thing in the world, but you got to do it, in the right way. Like, is he capable of doing that?
you can't put him on a one of the in like you can put him on a show where he gets interviewed. You could put him on The View. You could put him
Yeah,
on something which will be entertaining as fuck to
I,
do
w- I
too.
would love to see him on The View. That'd be fantastic.
Fantastic. You can put him on a softball show like that, but you cannot put him on like a Fox News thing where he'll
No,
get because I don't think he is that guy. And quite frankly, we're talking pro wrestling, so I don't
right?
think you get a lot of that scrutiny.
Yeah,
I just
yeah.
don't. Like, and I think you put him on there just to buck some trends to get people like, oh wow, look at this, just because of his look. Like, and then Jeff made that joke a couple weeks ago. I've never seen a liberal man look more like a Nazi. Like, and even they both laughed because
That ruled. That joke was
sure
awesome.
did,
Yeah, yeah,
sure did. But that's like you could you could roll into that and utilize that in a way that really hasn't been done before. And I
yeah.
think that again, helps AEW stand out just because of his look. You just let him be a little personable. Like, the guy who's had their title longer than anybody else is terribly media, is not media savvy at all. John Moxley avoids media attention like nobody else.
Yeah.
He hates that shit. So you don't have to. I'm just saying you have an opportunity to. You got
Right.
Max, but Max isn't the guy who can talk. Like, even if Max, which he kind of, it sure seems like he actually does believe this stuff, but he's not the kind of guy to shine a light on it.
No, well, he's the heel.
Right.
So,
Who's very
yeah.
good at being a heel. He's
Yeah.
actually, this is as much more successful from a creative standpoint, reign for him than the first one because he's just being himself.
Yeah.
Right. So now you have a guy like a Brody King who tags with Bandito and, like, dude, it freaking writes itself.
Yeah. No, I'm interested in the idea. I would have to, like, if I were in Tony Khan's position, be like, here, what's the pros and the cons here? And because it's easy for us to say, here, you should do this.
Yep.
It's your money, not mine.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think his legacy says this is pretty funny. It says Tyrus versus King on Fox News. I think King would eat his ass alive.
Bro, I think Brody King would be a really shit at a Tyrus.
Yeah.
I'd watch.
Yeah, I mean Tyrus is a big dude, but Tyrus also cannot move. But I mean, I'm just talking about in a debate on Greg Gutfeld. I think Brody King would probably. That's the thing is, like, I don't know how trained he is, but because Tyrus, like, say what you want, like, he's been on the show a long time talking politics. He's, like, trained on how to do that. So I don't know.
Well, he regurgitates the Fox talking points.
Yeah,
Like, I don't want to get into the whole thing, but those people have their list of bullet points that they stick to, and they don't. If you play for that side, you don't get out of your talking points, and you rarely bring on people who can challenge your talking points.
yeah,
Right? You never see those kind of things. So
yeah. This is an apolitical show, JD, but these fucking ICE assholes need to be reined in.
oh,
So, yeah, they need to be reined in. They need to be better trained, and they got to stop marching around like a Gestapo force. I'm sick of it, and something's got to change. So I have no power, but something's got to change.
Mike, you're a retired military. Like, and the
Yeah.
fact to listen to you say that just says kind of where we are. Like, they're
Yeah.
out of control right now. It's Stephen Miller. Like, the sooner that guy is out of power, like,
I don't.
it's that guy's something else.
Yeah, I don't want to stay on the topic too long, but when you give these guys a quota and said go fucking do it, and like they're meatheads, like this is what happens, right? So, yeah. Anyway, let's get off of that topic because I don't want to get too pissed.